Today is Friday, March 6, 2015. I'd like to title this rant Billy and Hillary Together Again. And by Billy, I mean Billy O'Reilly, and by Hillary, obviously Hillary Clinton. A couple of their miscues have come to the forefront. It's been in the media quite a bit in the last 2 weeks for Billy, and in the last week for Hillary with her emails at the State Department, and for Billy, the fact that he made some comments about Brian Williams when Brian Williams was down and he had to leave his station, that others pointed out that he has lied on numerous occasions over the years, and he doubled down and said everything that he has ever done in his professional life as a reporter has been true. I'm just going to track them real quickly. In 1977, he said he was standing outside someone's house when they blew their brains out. That person was knew Lee Harvey Oswald, and Bill was there to get the scoop. He wrote it in his book. He was on TV when someone mentioned it to him, and he sort of acknowledged, yeah, I was there. We have recordings from Bill talking to someone else saying Billy was in Dallas at the time. The people that were working with Billy at the time in Dallas said he was there. So let's go to a couple other quick ones. He said he saw the nuns get their heads blown off. He retracted that and said he saw pictures when he was down in Nicaragua or El Salvador in 1981. And of course, he said then he said that he was in the Falklands War, which he was not in. He said he mentioned some stuff about when he was covering the Rodney King thing. You know, all of this is lying. He's doing it to conflate his own ego. One of the things I'd like to mention about Billy briefly is that 1977 Dallas. He was in he worked for CBS 1981-82. Then he went somewhere into Boston, I believe. After that, then he was in Los Angeles. Then in 1992. He was in a lot of places, because he was a big fat jerk, and he tried to muscle his weight around, and he thought he was always right, and he thought that everything that he did was great, etc. And a lot of people didn't like him. But now it's sort of come back to haunt him. And the one thing I want to point out about that is that Rachel Maddow had a nice thing on him the other night. She basically indicated all of his miscues and his gaffes, and if he had just said, I really should have said it a different way. I really conflated the Falklands. I was never in the Falklands. I misspoke. Because he basically said I was in Buenos Aires in the Falklands covering the war, in the war zone. And we know that that's not true. He could have said I just misspoke, and people would have accepted that. But he had to double down on that. But the ending of Rachel's show is that they called him and asked him for comments on it, and his show got back to him, indicating that his show is the highest rated show on cable, or on cable network, cable news, so to speak. And it is. I mean, his numbers trump everybody's. And so basically what it's saying is this is not going to be an issue for Fox News anymore. This is not going to be an issue for Billy O'Reilly anymore. We're not going to pay any attention to this anymore because we have our audience, and they don't care whether he's lying or not, and etc. And he's not going to pay any repercussions for this. Now, in reference to Hillary had some emails come out, and there's some questions as to whether or not she followed the letter of the law the way the law was written at the time, because the law had changed a little bit. And there's also some of the things in the reference because of the past as to what type of people the Clintons are, meaning Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, in terms of their secrecy, in terms of the fact that people there feel that everyone's out to get them. And I would say that from 1993 to 2001, the Republicans were out to get them. They were using every single excuse to do anything to try and ruin their careers, just ruin their careers. Because the example of Whitewater is that Whitewater was basically, they were silent partners in an investment deal with a slick banker who and the deal went belly up. That's what Whitewater was. And I don't know how much money they lost or didn't lose or whatever, and the banker ended up going to jail. I can't remember his name. Was that McDougal, or is that the wife, or the... That's what that deal was all about. And of course, then they tried to get Ken Starr involved. Then Ken Starr heard about Monica, And the thing about Bill, and I'm going to make a quick Bill Clinton, that is that he should have gotten rid of Monica the first time she did anything with him. He should have been smart enough. He wasn't. Obviously, that's a flaw. One of the things that I came to realize at some point in time, probably even before this happened with Bill, is that there are a lot of great people in the United States, both men and women, and they all have just as many flaws as just an average, ordinary schmo like me. Except because they're in the public eye, they really have to pretend that those flaws don't necessarily exist, and they do exist, and it makes it look even worse when they try to pretend that they're not there. So the example I'll give with Bill Clinton is that when he grew up in Hope, Arkansas, he was born in 46, so in 56, at 56 he's going to church with his mom the other side of the street. There's the whorehouses. And by the time he was 10 years old, I guarantee you, because I knew what was going on at 10 years old, that he knew what was going on over at those places. And so he wouldn't necessarily think that a BJ really means sex. But so great people have great flaws. If you want to consider Billy O'Reilly a great person, I don't necessarily consider him a great person. I consider him a tremendously flawed person, and he has a grand plan for living, and he has a value system that I basically abhor. And he will do anything to fit the narrative of his grand plan for living. So let's get back to Hillary. So Hillary had the Rose Law Firm. She couldn't find her billing records. The billing records suddenly showed up in the White House, inside the White House, and somewhere on someone's desk somewhere. And so Hillary has a big problem with her emails right now. And Bill O'Reilly had a big problem in terms of everyone pointing out that he really does like to excessively exaggerate his position and his place in life, because all he is basically, an entertainer of hate. That's basically what he is. All right. Now, and Bill will not suffer any repercussions of all of the things that he has lied about and of all the hate mongering that he has done. He will not suffer any repercussions from that. Now, on the other example, Hillary, probably because of things with Bill and her nature of her relationship with her husband, Bill, is that they've kept a lot of things secret because they know that certain things can come back to haunt them because they have a lot of experience of things that can come back to haunt them. And just to bring up another quick thing, you remember when Bill Clinton was president, and there was all this talk about all of the whores that Bill had, and the state police guys who would go out and get the chicks and bring them back to Bill. That was all a lie. And the Paula Jones thing, she hooked up with an exceptionally conservative group. I don't know if it was a law firm or not, and they filed papers on the last day before the statute of limitations went out. And there was another thing in reference to, remember there was all that talk about all those unpaved landing strips all over Arkansas where all kinds of pot and other drugs were coming in over the country. That all was a lie. And Vince Foster, didn't commit suicide. He was murdered. That was all a lie. All a lie to bring the Clintons down, and it was just total exaggeration of every single thing. And paying people to lie. David Brock wrote a good book about that. So obviously the Clintons have a history. They're not, as I said, everyone has flaws. Their flaws are exacerbated the higher they go up. Everyone has to sort of try and hide their flaws. Billy O'Reilly's flaws are there every day for people to see. He has a great TV show. I love the way he writes. He looks you right in the eye, and I don't believe anything that he says. And I think that most of the things that he says are very hurtful to most of the people in the country. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, was a Goldwater Republican back in 1964. And after she went to Yale University, I don't know when she went, 67, 68, something like that, and she was there for a while, she said, you know what? I understand what the Republicanism is all about. I don't want anything to do with that anymore. I'm going to be a Democrat. And she never looked back. She never looked back. And here we are, fast forwarding, almost 50 years later. She has had a life where she has tried to help out people throughout her lifetime. Has she been perfect at it? No. Have you had to make deals to get some things? Yes. Is there controversy always seeming to surround her? Yes. Is there an amount of secrecy involved with Bill and Hillary Clinton? Yes. Now, the distinction I want to make here is that I don't know where it's going to go with the emails right now. It doesn't look good right now. We know that there were some laws, and even Billy O'Reilly said that she didn't break some laws, as whether or not how she interpreted the law, how she preserved her emails, whether or not those emails would have been susceptible to hackers, how secure were the emails. So all of that is coming into play. But the point that I want to make out about all of this is that for everything that Billy has lied about, no repercussions whatsoever. And for the things that Hillary might have a problem with right now with the email, could possibly cost her the presidency. And if that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. I don't have any say in the matter. I wish that wasn't the case. Perhaps when you're trying to cover yourself so that you're not going to be exposed at a later point in time, this might be what's coming back to hurt her. And again, unfortunately, Hillary's flaws are going to be exacerbated all over the place if she does run for president, just like they were in 2000 when she went for the Senate, in 2008 when she went for the presidency, and all the time that she was back in the White House. So it's a never-ending saga. I hope Hillary well, and I really don't hope Billy well at all. The one thing I'd like to say, I'd like people to just hound Billy anytime he's out in the public. Why did you lie about the nuns? Why did you lie about this? Why did you lie about Rodney King? Why did you lie about that guy that knew Lee Harvey Oswald? Pound him on it.